All right. What up, good people? We are back for another incredible episode of the Planning Podcast. Now, you may say,
two-bedroom house down the hood in Mobile.
And so those early growing, all those guys decided that weekends, that collectively, this is what they were going to do.
What's up, Coop? What's up, big dog? Great.
Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Y'all subscribe, stay tuned, and of course, stay planning.
What up, good people? We are back. As you can see, a familiar face. What up, Tyrone?
What's good, brother? I'm jealous of an in-person episode. The intro, I need the in-person sit down. No love, but
that's right. Like we got a few more cuts. You know what I'm saying? We got a few more cuts. So those that are familiar with the platform, those that are here in Birmingham, this is a face that you've been able to hear and see over the airways, but also be able to see in person. So, of course, the Financial Freedom Project Week that we were able to have, we had some experts to talk about digital assets. But Tyrone was one of those utility players, so where it was just like, nah, I'm here for a couple of days, brother. I'm finna talk about digital assets, this NIL space. And so very, very grateful for your time today, big dog.
Absolutely. Grateful for you thinking of me and having me as always. You know, we connected for life now. So
yeah, that's right. That's right. And as we talking about it, I need my 401t, my brother.
I got you. Yeah. We got you lined up. Every time I wear it, people like, can't we small?
Yeah.
I got you.
All right. So founder, CEO of Turnkey Labs, founder, CEO of 401 Financial, of course, an asset in multiple spaces, but one of the earlier voices and experts when it pertains to digital assets. So when you think about cryptocurrency, you think about Bitcoin, and you think about this whole world that is happening. Tyrone has really been on the frontier of educating not only folks like me, but also financial advisors and equipping them with tools. So if you could you explain Turnkey Labs to someone who's never touched crypto? What problems are you solving day to day?
Yeah. So think of Turnkey like Plaid. And for those of you who don't know Plaid, whenever you go to an app or somewhere where you have to link your bank account, that's Plaid in the back end, helping you connect your bank account to be able to pay for that t-shirt or that service or whatever you signed up for. So that's essentially what Turnkey is for crypto. We're the back end that allows the end user to show their Coinbase account to Isaac, right? Or to Tyrone, whoever's helping them with financial advice. So we provide data to large financial institutions, you name it, they get our crypto data. But we facilitate that by making the experience very similar to Plaid.
Right. So when you think about Bitcoin digital assets, of course, there is a wave of interest based off of the performance or the price of Bitcoin. So the higher it gets, the more attention it gets. Take me back to whenever you first, you may have been convinced or it may have been introduced and you learn more about it, but take me back to when you were like, this is something I'm gonna put more time and energy towards in regards of Bitcoin digital assets. What was it?
I was a registered rep at Merrill Lynch and had a good friend of mine who he was the one who always used to make our fake IDs and do all that stuff so we get in the club. So he was always messing around with technology and doing stuff he wasn't supposed to. So and it's funny, how you just kind of get people when you hear it from that person, it kind of changes things, right? But even with him, I was kind of like, all right, man. So some mythical man created these coins that you think, you're like, get out of here.
Yeah.
And I'm drinking the Merrill Kool-Aid at the time, so I'm kind of like, this ain't real. It's nothing supporting it, so on and so forth. And he was just like, look, give me 5 minutes, right? Download a wallet. I'm going to send you some. And then once he sent it to me, I was like, oh, that happened kind of quick, right? And as you heard multiple times, I grew up in a home without a bank account, right? Like we were woefully unbanked and then woefully underbanked at some point. And, my mother used to ride around going to the check cash in place, get money orders from the bank, all this other stuff, and you can't see Bitcoin and then experience that and then unsee it. I was kind of like, so wait a minute, there's an ability for me to send value to somebody like right now in real time. And that was it, man. And that was like sometime in 2014. I don't even remember at this point. Every day in crypto was like 10 years. And, and so like I said, at that point, I was just kind of like, well, teach me everything. And he gave me a bunch of stuff to read. I read the white paper. Then I started going down these rabbit hole of YouTube videos and going on Twitter at the time and reading stuff and newsletters. And that was it, man. And then it was like, I ain't going to be able to do this at Merrill. And I took a big swing in 2016. And I remember sitting with my mentor at Merrill, and he was like, if you really believe in it, go all in, right? But you ain't going to be able to do it here. Like, just, go all in. And I will never forget this. And he still tells me this to this day. He would always say, don't let them pigeonhole you as just the crypto guy. And that always stuck with me. He's like, go all in, but still be a well-rounded advisor, still be a well-rounded speaker, still be a well-rounded individual. So you're thought about for more reasons than that. And that was it, man. I went all in, and I was like, there's something here. And I bet my whole career on it. Yeah.
So what kept you in it? Because it's kind of like a business or even a relationship to where you're like, man, I'm done with this. I'm tired. I don't even know if I'm feeling this anymore. Because there's going to be ebbs and flows of one's understanding, but also in regards of one's expectation, right? And so getting into a space, understanding really the foundational concepts of financial planning, being a financial advisor, to where what is typically deemed as an asset is some of the we'll just say components we're familiar with in regards to commodities, the stock market, real estate, right? Like those different entry points. What was it about? And I'll start with Bitcoin, because I don't want to use digital assets yet, because I think Bitcoin was really the entry point. What was it about Bitcoin to where you said, I see something, everyone else isn't seeing it, but I see it?
I think there's three things that kept me in it, but starting with Bitcoin, and you would relate to this, is that at that time, like prior to me getting in financial services, I was a juvenile probation officer. I was doing a lot of work in the community, and I kept seeing the same issues. And it was that there was lack of resources. There was lack of access to those resources. There was a lack of understanding. There was a digital divide. There was all these things. I didn't know that I would call those things forward, but I was exposed to it. Yeah. And once I saw Bitcoin, I was kind of like, oh, like there's a solution here for these people that live in banking deserts, for people who walk down the street and it's payday lender after payday lender, right? So I was like, there was a narrative of those who were around at that time of banking the unbanked. That was one of the first crypto narratives. And that was the one I latched onto, because like that makes sense to me, because not only did I live it, but I saw it. So that was the first thing. That's what kept me in it. And that's what keeps me in it to this day. Yeah. And that's the reason why I woke up this morning and I read an article that Swift now has launched real-time payment system for consumers, where now you can send money to somebody in China in a minute or less. Now, again, still with crypto, it's faster, but traditional financial services are catching up. I can't be convinced that that's not because Bitcoin came to be in 2009. No one can convince me of that. So I saw that gap very early. I think the second thing is I burned the boats. I couldn't go back. I was like, I'm doing that and only that. And I've been doing it every day, all day for the last almost 13 years. Right. So I didn't give myself another option. Again, something else that you could relate with. I was also transitioning, coming out of a track career, right, where I was trying to make my Olympic dream happen and wasn't. And this was somewhere I could dump all of that pain, all of that direction, all of that focus, all of that discipline. Yeah. And, that was a big thing for me. And the last thing was, I knew that I had to have something that was essentially going to start to create my legacy, where my name was going to be the answer.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, I couldn't frame it that way at the time, but I was starting to get around more people where their name was the solution, right? And now my name comes up in the room because people go, man, this crypto stuff, or call Tyrone. Thank you, Erica.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, we know somebody. So that was it. And then I started to realize the more I leaned in, the more my name started to become the answer. And I was like, all right, well, I'm stuck now.
Right. That's good. and it's you don't know how much I appreciate. One, I'm gonna name a couple of things. I thoroughly appreciate those that built companies before Chat GPT and Claude and all these other platforms, because your why is typically tied to something tangible, right?
Amen.
And unfortunately, the tangible outcome that most of us look for, and there's nothing wrong with it, is to make money. But if serving people isn't the foundation of it, then your heart is going to become hard in those ebbs and flows of expectations not being met, disappointment in regards of people, deals, opportunities, understanding, awareness. And so to hear what kept you in it was the void being seen from the unbanked and underbanked communities, transaction speed, having family overseas, or I send money to Europe and I got to put that SWIFT number in that, all this information, and where it's just like, it took, hold on, you didn't get that till when? It came out of my bank account in that moment, but it took how? Right. So all these things that's just like, you know, I say this all the time. I'm like, it's 2026. Why is this still a problem?
Yeah.
And in the financial institutions and financial industry, it probably has had the most archaic environment to be able to be innovative and be up to speed. And Bitcoin has really challenged that, and also changed a good bit in regards of, you know, some of the components that you've mentioned. So
really so two things, just to put a ribbon on that. It's the difference between a mercenary founder and a missionary founder. A mercenary founder is just, I want to build the biggest company. A missionary founder is never leaving. Like, I'm never leaving, leaving, ever. You know, like, I will see it through. And then even after that, I'm not leaving, just in case it was something else that I needed to get done in crypto. I ain't leaving. So I think that's part of it. And, you know, I think the other thing that is so critical with Bitcoin is, I explain this to people all the time. If it again, big B, right? The Bitcoin blockchain, little b, the token. But if the Bitcoin blockchain is anything, it's the best flashlight ever created, because all it did was shine this big light on all the inequities in the existing financial system. Why is it so slow? Why is it so expensive? Why is it really work really, really well for a select few, right? Why is it so expensive for people that need it the most? Like, it just, right? Now, the little b token could go to zero. I don't care. But if it's already one, in the sense that, wait a minute, the United States of America haven't had a real-time payment system since 2024. That's when we actually started it. 2024, Fed now. Japan has had one since the 70s. They would have never addressed it if Bitcoin didn't make it uncomfortable for people. So it's less about all of the number go up and all this other stuff. It's about how it literally shines a light on the inequities in our financial system and forces large institutions to do something about it. And you're starting to see that. And again, 18 years, going on 18 years old, long way to go.
Yeah. What are financial advisors missing? So, unfortunately, as you mentioned, the industry and institutions, the adoption or the willingness to be educated. I'll separate the two. The willingness to be educated in regards to digital assets and crypto was something that took a little bit of time. You know what I'm saying? Took a little bit more of a little bit more patience on their end. But as they are coming across more people, it's not a surprise if someone has, a Charles Schwab, a Fidelity account, retirement through their job, and then they got a Coinbase account. Like you're not going to avoid it. Like you can send money on Cash App and buy Bitcoin 12 seconds later. And so it's something to where if it's not a part of the conversation, then you're missing out on a part of the planning. What are the biggest misconceptions that advisors have about serving clients that have digital assets or crypto in general?
So before I answer that, I want to go back to what you're saying. I think you kind of answered it in your question, is that I think the biggest opportunity advisors are missing is the opportunity to be educated. Like it still cracks me up. The CFAs and CFPs still post on social media some of the stuff that they post. It's embarrassing, right? Like I couldn't imagine going through all that hard work and rigor and publicly embarrassing myself on social media like they do. I just don't understand it. Now, I think the biggest misconception when it comes to clients owning it is that the clients don't want to talk about it. They do want to talk about it with their financial advisor or their financial professional or fiduciary, whoever. They do want to talk about it. But if the client reads or knows that the firm can't, for whatever reason, manage it and discussing it are two different things. Advisors talk with clients about a lot of things they don't manage, as
That's
you
a
know.
great point. Yep.
Talk about a lot of things with clients you don't manage, but you still have to have a conversation about it. And I think the second thing is that it's difficult in 2026 to make that happen, right? It's not like it was for me in 2016. It's better now in 2026 because of, the tools that are there. Hello Turnkey, that allows financial advisors to see it, read only. You don't need to do nothing but send an email. We do the rest, So I think those are the two big ones.
Yeah. What patterns are you seeing whenever you have the opportunity to look at someone's crypto investments? So if they got Solana, they got Bitcoin, they got Ether, in comparison to their traditional assets, right? Like, are you seeing patterns of where investors are like, you know what, I want to dial down my 401k allocation and put it more into crypto? Or is it more those that are maxing out everything that they can, and there is a discretionary that they've established to allocate towards crypto? Like, what patterns are you seeing over the past couple of years?
Overtrading. Overtrading is a big one. Two, no plan or process around how much crypto and when and where. And the last one probably is a lack of understanding. There's truly no understanding of what is the difference between a Bitcoin and Solana. And that has a lot to do with two different wallets. How do I store them? What account am I buying them in, right? What does it cost for me to transact? All of these things. So I think those are the big three, but over trading is a big one. I think the cryptos, one of crypto's original sins was that it was this thing that you chase and you can get rich overnight and all you need to do is, right? And it started to get in this, this nihilistic behavior of chasing when it just should be, I have a core allocation that I just sit on, right? Preferably Bitcoin, that I just buy, and I hold it and I leave it alone and I go live my life, right? And I'll come back every once in a while and maybe some satellite investments around that, some altcoins or alternative coins, if you call them, if that's what you're into. But I think over trading has been a plague, man.
Yeah. And I definitely, we both know the role news, social media plays, and now you see all these different posts about, hey, I made this, but lo and behold, they was lying the whole time. And so people are now chasing a narrative that ain't even, real. So that's a really good distinction. Are you engaging with any institutions on how they are thinking about digital assets, Bitcoin, something they need to hold on their balance sheet? Like what some of the conversations you're having with companies when they're thinking about their overall portfolio as a business?
Yeah, we we had a really big win last week. Agreement signed that will be announced here really shortly. That I can't wait. It don't get no bigger than this one. So
Yes, sir.
So you know, I think there's a lot when you're talking to institutions now because they have a higher bar. So I think one is they're always focused on the security angle first, right? They have to protect themselves, especially when you're dealing with fiduciaries.
Yeah.
Secondly, there is a desire to rent it, not build it, right? They don't want to build it. They want you to do it, right? You are their trusted professional. They expect you to have all of the answers, but also knowing where the gaps are in their business, where you fit in. So that's really important. And I think dealing with large enterprises that want access to crypto data and information, they really want to be educated. There needs to be an education. There's a lot that they don't know that you got to put them onto. And I think to me, that's what's really fascinating about seeing how a large organization like financial institutions can be so far behind, right? So that's really it. It's more of an understanding. It's the security angle, and then laying out, okay, what could we expect from you to highlight the differences of how we normally do business? How is this any different? More importantly, how is it the same? Right? How do you start where it's the same?
Yeah. That's a good point, because I was just thinking about the term fiduciary in regards of traditional assets and that duty and that responsibility and the compliance that you are that's needed, that you're forced to know to ensure that you don't get sued. Because the larger the company, the larger the opportunity, the larger the game plan in regards of being risk averse. When it pertains to anything that could get you in trouble. How has that fiduciary duty shifted or expanded once you include, digital wallets, crypto holdings? Like what's some of the differentiation that occurs from some of the traditional way in which it needed to be represented to how we are introducing this new we'll just say world of asset gathering?
Yeah, I guess I'm a bad proxy, right? So I got to take myself out of this, right? I only know crypto as an advisor for the last 12 years. So nothing has really changed for me. It's been the same. But building technology for advisors and educating them, I think one is crypto trades 24/7, 365. I think that's a big thing that advisors can't wrap their head around. Institutions as well, right? Like, when do you snap the price? Like, is it at 4:00 like everything else? So I think that's part of it. I think the second thing is that unlike any other asset class, this was built for retail first. So more than likely the client got access before their advisor did. So now the client probably knows more than the advisor, right? And that's not a seat we're used to being in, especially when it comes to investments, right? Usually the only thing that a client has more info on is their business, right? They know their business better than yours if they're a small business owner. But advisors aren't used to sitting in that seat, and then you get a little bit of imposter syndrome. So it's just easier to be like, I don't want to deal with it. Yeah. And I think another big one is there's an as the space has grown, there started to be sectors. Me and Eric talk about this all the time. For those listening, Eric is my partner at 4-1. Is there's different sectors in crypto now. There's apps and protocols, right? Like, there's all these different things that people really don't get. It's not as simple as just Bitcoin and everything else. There's these different buckets now that crypto falls into. And with that, and I've been saying this recently on the podcast tour that I'm on right now, is that this is the first time in my career that there are multiple venues to get access. Like, you can get it any way you want it now, right? Now you get it on E-Trade, thanks to Morgan Stanley. Schwab is launching spot trading. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, which is still my go-to and my favorite of what I recommend, Coinbase, Robinhood, you name it, right? So I think there's so many venues now. When I first got into it, it really wasn't, I was there in the days where people was trying to open a Coinbase account and it took 4 days, and then the money took another 4 days, and then, so it's just a different world now. And it's just like anything else, the longer you wait, right, the deeper it gets, the bigger the problem gets or the issues. So the more firms and designations and boards and everything else waited, the space just got away from them. Now is almost impossible for them to wrap their arms around it.
Yeah. So with all this, well, let me ask this question. How much is there because there's some shared terminology here, even when you just mentioned tokens. And I was just listening to, what's some boys, All-In Podcast with David Sachs and, that whole they ultimately, I think it's I'm gonna have to like practice saying his last name, but I know his first name is Shama. I believe he was on CNBC, and he was talking, and they were talking about tokens, and this is more so in the world of AI and Claude and Anthropic and OpenAI and ChatGPT and Grok and all that good jazz. But they were talking about tokens, and they mentioned, or the question was around like, I'm hearing tokens, break it down. And Shamath ultimately said, the same way that there is a price for a barrel of oil, token ultimately is the price for intelligence, right? And now, and the reason why I bring that up is that my curiosity is, how much did Bitcoin influence this world of AI? Because you did mention in regards of like the technology, the framework, the how Bitcoin has influenced other things, where like, don't worry too much about price. It's more so the impression or the infrastructure that challenge all these other entities around our world to be more efficient and effective. But now, as we think about AI and token usage in regards of intelligence, is that shared terminology influenced by the digital asset realm, or is that just
no? Tokens are different in the AI world, right?
Yes, okay.
Of what token now, he's absolutely correct, right? It's funny, like I joke with my team now. I was like, it's either tokens or your salary, like.
Hey, and I just chose token in one situation, so I'm right there with you.
Like Chuck E. Cheese around these parts. But for the purposes of crypto and tokens and the terminology, there's so many. I think that's what's also confusing. Are they tokens? Are they coins? Are they digital assets? Are they crypto assets? Right? So, but what I do think happened is you could draw a straight line between the people that built and saw the value of the internet early, the people that saw the value of crypto early, and then the people that saw and invested in AI early. Right? So I think that's where there's some commonality. And I think there are those folks always want to be at the frontier of new technology and any breakthrough. Bitcoin was that. AI is that multiplied by, however many times. And then the internet was that as well.
Yeah. So walk me through your morning, because now with the access to so much information, regardless of what platform, it could be social media, it could be Yahoo Finance, it could be something you found on X. Walk me through your morning on, some of the things that you look at first. If it's, specific news sources, like what's your algorithm of understanding more information?
So it changed a lot for me because, again, I've been in it so long. I know I have a really good BS filter.
Yeah.
Right. And now I started out by having to rely on that stuff, but now having my own crypto company, like we generate insights, we do these things. So I kind of start at home. Also, I tell Eric all the time, it's millions of dollars in our group chat. Boy, oh boy, right? Me and Eric are constantly sending articles back and forth. So I'll check our chats. I'll check our turnkey WhatsApp. I'll read, what some of the, what our agents put in there, right? So our agents curate information for me based on our information. I read through that. There are a few newsletters now that are still worth their salt. So I have newsletters. I have groups in Telegram that I'm in, Glassnode, Blockworks, Zach XBT, who's like the crypto security sleuth. Incredible information there. And then I'll scan X. If there's anything good, is X4 now is that, right? It's still like the town center for information. Also racism and misogyny, but but I'll do a quick scan, I'll do a quick scan on X. And then that's really it. It's not like I don't like all the big media sources. I don't really, unless I'm on it. I go but so yeah, a lot of it is organic. The conversations that Eric and I have, and it's from using it. And I think that's the big thing. Yeah, we use the technology daily. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So we know what works and what doesn't. We know what launched, and we know people in the industry. So you kind of get things that's coming on. So it's my network as well. It's internally what we're doing. And then, yeah, there's a few newsletters here and there that I read that kind of will provide. Coin Metrics actually still has a pretty good newsletter that I'll read. I'm actually going to read it a little later today. So highly curated at this point, but it's very much personalized.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. As you mentioned, with the company that you built and the clients that you've established, they trust your ability and that BS meter to make sure that they are getting the facts and the information that's valuable for them. When you think about the metrics, of course the most front-facing metric is what's the price of Bitcoin? What, hey, did it break 100,000? What are some of the metrics that are overlooked that gives it may not be confidence, but it gives assurance in decisions that folks are making in regards of digital assets? What's some of those metrics that folks are like, they ain't even talk about this? Yeah. What would you say?
There's one that we follow closely and that we care about, and this is the only one I'm going to mention because I feel like it's that important. It is total crypto market cap X stables, right? And even stable coins. So X stables and then X Bitcoin and ETH. So you get a really solid look on what's going on in the market. Because with stable coins, you remove, right, a lot of the stable coins, you take up a lot of the top 10, top 25 in market cap. And then when you remove Bitcoin and ETH, you remove the two biggest, right? And then now you're just left with, all right, Dogecoin and all the other goofy coins that are there, but you get a good feel for where the market is going. And then what Eric does is he lays that over the NASDAQ, right? Or we'll do it over the S&P 500 and track that. So if you zoom out and you look at total crypto market cap, X, Bitcoin, ETH, and stables, you see a continued uptrend. But you're not going to see that. And anywhere you look, Bitcoin's down 50% from the highs, right? Again, right? A lot of market cap loss. But when you are in it like we are, and you could kind of dig in and look at the right things, you start to see on a longer term view, right? And zooming out, trend is still up, So being very strategic about that as we, start to look at when to maybe make some allocations, what is really going on, having some conversations about what we do, what we build, what's next. So that's a very, very big one that no one talks about, that we pound the table.
That's really good. Really good. And you mentioned something, and a couple more questions before we finish up.
For sure.
About stable coins. So what's your thoughts on stable coins? I've seen, a few perspectives around how banks are excited about it because it allows them to not have to hold so much cash, and they can leverage that as an asset to be able to repurpose dollars. Of course, the connection between stable coins and Ethereum and the Ether price based off of the usage and the potential value proposition are stable coins more a institutional conversation? Is it more of a retail conversation? Where do you see stable coins really playing a role, short and long term?
I think stable coins are great. I'm from the cloth of, and you got to be a really punch drunk crypto hippie to know, I'm from the cloth of when Maker was being pushed back in 2017. You know what I mean? I'm an OG. I'm the OG of the OGs with that. I always thought Maker, and it ended up being Maker DAO and it switched, but I always thought Maker was fascinating. I remember being at a conference in 2017, hearing about it. I'm like, this is interesting, right? Because you need some type of settlement, right? Like if we're moving assets, you got to have some type of settlement on chain and liquidity and cash. And so I think stable coins are great. I think if you haven't used them, you should. I mean, paying people in USDC, getting investments in USDC, and you're getting the money like that is really cool, right? I had an investor in Turnkey, and he, sent us some USDC, and before he could even tell me, right, like it was sent, I was like, we see it, it's here. He's like, I didn't even send you the confirm yet, you know. So I think it's powerful in that regard. I think the ability to use it to borrow, lend, get yield is really interesting. Again, if you are in the ecosystem, I think it's more of a retail. It started out as more of a retail story that's becoming an institutional story now, because every time you go online, another institution is launching some type of stable coin. I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know why everybody needs one, but we'll figure it out. Right? It's good for my business. Do it. Right? That means more wallet addresses. Thank you. So I think it's becoming more of an institutional story. I think there are folks like Privy and Bridge and companies that are going to help, larger institutions figure that out, to be able to pay employees, to allow people to get their money faster and cheaper. But a lot of this is, the Genius Act passed, which is nice, but there's still some hangups in the Clarity Act around stablecoin yield. I feel like people should be able to get yield on their stablecoins. The banks ain't going for that. But there you go. I think if that's the case, what people are going to do? They're going to find their local DeFi protocol, take their and they're going to move it on the protocol and get yield.
And keep it moving. That's right. That's exactly right. But curiosity around, because unfortunately, anything that you can use, you can abuse, and in the crypto space, we've seen a lot more abuse of this when it pertains to NFTs. And so there has been the conversation around the utility in regards of having a digital paper trail when it pertains to the authenticity of a particular document. If it could be a driver's license, it could be a deed, it could be, you name it. Are those conversations, are you hearing anything in regards of NFTs, not much in the art space, but in regards of being able to authenticate, documents or material that may be valuable?
No, it's kind of, NFTs they're on life support. I do think that there's an opportunity for them to make a comeback. I mean, prior to us recording, we were talking about Martha's Vineyard, and I was very deep in the community there and dealing with a lot of the Black business owners, and a woman up there named Kahina, who I stayed at her bed and breakfast, which was incredible. She owns a couple properties. She has a store there called Jubilee. If you're there, go visit. And she wants to build this community and have people get rewards of going into the store or events with her or whatever else. That's a great idea for an NFT, right? So I have my NFT, I walk into the store, right? I have my digital badge. Maybe that means I get a certain percentage off, and then I get the plug on where she's going to be for a fireside chat or something like that. And she has all of these wonderful Black artists and entrepreneurs and designers and things and writers who put things in her store. And I go, you know what? Yeah, I may not want that bag, but I want a digital representation of the bag so I can support the creator, right? And then that digital value goes to the creator. That creator has a wallet. Now, all of a sudden, I don't buy the bag, but man, I want to support the creator. So I want to send 5 USDC to the creator, right? And maybe I want both. I want the physical representation. So I'm going to buy the bag and I'm going to donate, right, to the creator. However you do that. And that would be really interesting for both parties, because now I own the shop. And I say to Isaac, all right, fine. You want to put your planning hats here? Well, I can either give you 100% of whatever we earn, or, right, you can sell the hats for 75% of what you normally would. And then the other 25% will give people the option to, make a donation or whatever else, or goes to you directly. Like, that's dope. Like, who wouldn't want to do that? So that's where I think there's some value. But I had a conversation with her about that, and I think that's something that she's looking to implement. So I'm trying to help her with that as much as possible.
Yeah, that's incredible. And it got me thinking about it. It actually reminded me about the Big Three with Ice Cube, because I feel like there was a component and there was a design of, specific tickets, being able to have, access to certain aspects of the arena, to, different events outside of the arena. So that'll be a really good test case to see how did that go? Because I know he launched that a couple of years ago, and it seemed like NFTs work for those that really had a utility for it, right? They're cultivating a community, and there are experiences that are tangible, but also not tangible, that could allow that community to have an uninterrupted experience. But also it expands someone's ability to be able to support someone. Like, all right, I may not be able to purchase this $25,000 painting, but I could send $250 towards this, and get that digital version of the painting. So I think that's
something that you care about and I care about is education. Now, imagine if all those people that was there for the financial freedom event, right? Now had a wallet, and then because of they were there, they either made it easy for them to get a wallet or helped them get a wallet. And now this episode is done and it airdrops directly into their wallet. And now every episode you do, it just airdrops to them. So now they're getting continuous education. I don't have to go find it. I don't have to go download it. It's right in the wallet and it's right there. And then I could just scroll through them and I could pick out the one that's important. I get an alert. Like that's
dangerous.
Like that's real time. Like that could happen anyway. But so it is. Show.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I was just looking at all the videos we got on YouTube, and I'm like, man, if they ever just click the button, we got it saved. But at the same time, to be able to, create that type of immediate access would be dope. So where can people follow your work? If it's either, hey, I want to learn more about this turnkey aspect, I want to get our company to sit down with your folks, I want to be a client of 401 Financial, or I want to follow you on X, Instagram, like where can folks get proximate to you?
So on LinkedIn, you put in my name, Tyrone V. Ross Jr., I'll pop up there. I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn these days. On X, I'm TR401. Do a lot less posting there, but I am there a lot. I'm just addicted like the rest of us that got there really early. On Instagram, Tyrone, Tyrun 401. Everything has a 401. If you see 401, it's probably me. And then, anybody who wants to obviously talk more about Turnkey or 401financial.co is our website. Tyrone at 401financial.co is my email. Please reach out, send questions. And again, happy to do free consultations, chat with folks. We just want to be good servants of our gifts.
Absolutely. And as you have that consultation, just know if you hear a random sound of jewelry hitting the floor, that is all that free jewelry that Tyrone is sharing during those consultations. And so it's definitely going to be valuable. My brother, I always appreciate you. Definitely will disclose I am a 401 client. And so I able to get expertise, insight, and best practices like no other. And so if you're jealous, you should be. So
come join the family.
That's exactly right. Outside of that, man, of course, Tyrone, appreciate you, brother. Make sure y'all subscribe, stay tuned. Let me quit stuttering, and of course, stay planning.